Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to be here this Monday morning. I'm glad you're here also. We got a great show lined up. I first want to thank our sponsors for always putting the show on. Also, the guys that came in and subbed for me while I took a little bit of time off down at the Cape. Stan and Ken always do a great job. And Bill and Greg came in on Friday, and I really appreciate it. You know, I was thinking we don't. We just I love getting outdoors. It's not just anybody come here and step in and do that show, do the show like they do, and they do a great job with it. So I always appreciate their professionalism and their knowledge of the outdoors. They're pretty well very knowledgeable and participated in it wholeheartedly like a lot of us do. Now let's move on with our weather. Like I say, brought to us by Haney. Looking today, we're a high of 89, low of 76. It's been that way for a while now. You know, the humidity though is what kills you in the summertime. The humidity is pretty hot. So anyway, the water temperature is 83 degrees, and we're looking at a moon phase, a Monday moon phase. We're looking at a new moon coming up this Friday, and our full moon. Now, full moon's coming on at the end of the month on the 29th of July. So that's going to be coming up, today's the 9th, and 20 more days by that full moon. That's brought to us by Sandhill Seafood up on Highway 77 just past Bozeman School. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Wow, you're looking at some strong tides. High this morning at 6:37, and then it's going out all the way to about 5:02 this afternoon. But go ahead and take a look at the whole week. We have some strong tides all week long, some really big movement, and perfect fishing. It's good. It's going to be a good week. We're talking about that moving water and cooling things down. It's going to be doing that. Our marine forecast will be west-northwest at about 6 to 8, about 40% chance of showers. Thunder boomers just pop up around. But other than that, everything's going to be good. It's just going to be a little bit warm. All right, let's take our break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Got a lot of pictures to show, so let's get started with our picture parade of what's been happening outdoors over the July 4th weekend. The first one we want to show, this is Alex Rylance Murphy. You remember Alex comes on the show from Haney every now and then, and it's great to see her fishing out there with a family. She had her boys there and her husband and some other folks and all, and they had a good red snapper trip. I do want to mention, looking at this closely, you know, almost all the pictures we're getting now, you're not seeing these really huge red snapper. We talked about that with other folks. These are perfect eating size. If you go to Captain Anderson's, this is what they're going to serve you. They don't want those big ones. But this is perfect eating size. So red snapper, plentiful, but not a lot of big ones right now. Nobody's coming a lot of big ones. I thought this was funny. Leanne Schwartztruber, she was at a Shell Island, and she's taking some pictures of the sand dunes, and here's a fishing lure in the sea oats. I replied back to her, I said, fishermen will try to catch fish anywhere, even in the sand. So it's funny, I don't know how that happened. It must have been, I guess, a surf fisherman, or maybe they were walking through the sand. Paul Thrasher built this little boat, and had it ready for the 4th of July. And this is what this is, just a little pull behind. You use it for cast netting or crabbing or floundering, and put your rod, you know, wade fishing. And he did a good job building it. Okay, that's really nice. Got a little place to put a dog there. Paul Thrasher. Paul's a builder anyway, so he enjoyed it. Paul's a good outdoorsman. Whitley Dillon has been on our show before, and you remember Whitley, she's a great outdoor girl, and here she is right here with a nice grouper. Good job, Whitley. I thought this was funny. Florida at 4 p.m., and all of a sudden, boom, 4:01. And if you're from around here, you know that is so true, but it's just, you know, popping up so quick. So be aware of that. This is us on our July 4th. We did a shrimp boil on July 4th. That's my nephew Hunter right there, and I let him do the heavy work, dumping everything out. We had some really good fresh shrimp from Tarpon Dock Seafood, and fresh corn from Bidding Forehand, and fresh potatoes and sausage, deer sausage and all, and we chowed down. Had a great feast right there. This is my tuna trip, and we'll talk about more about this later, but Wendy Colson sent me this picture. I didn't even know he took it, but here we are. We got a big old tuna on this line. That's Kenyon right there, and we fought this tuna for 1 hour and 15 minutes, so I got a lot of video, and Wendy just shot that picture. We were moving around and all, but You notice where we are around those oil rigs, and boy, we talk about structure. They really hold some fish. So thank you, Wendy Colson, for sending me that picture. Team Outdoors. Montana Reinhardt, one of my former students. Okay, she sent this picture, and I thought it was cute. I'm going to have to show you how I replied to it. I said, here at the bottom, I said, with that mouth open like that, it sort of made me think of you during my class, because she was always talking about on a friendly kind of note, and she got a kick out of it. A lot of people like that comment, but she got a big kick out of it. But Whitney Dillon had outdoor ed, and Montana had outdoor ed. I love to see those girls still going strong in the outdoors. And here's another one that had outdoor ed, April Kimball. Now she's married to April Kimball Vaughn, and she fishing on the Seminole Wind, and what a nice fish, April. Good job. That's 3 girls in a row. Here's our tuna trip. We're down in Venice, Louisiana. We're down there. That's a captain on the far right and a deckhand on the far left. So the fishing party was right there. My buddy from Valdosta, and you can see that we caught that big old tuna. That's over 100-pound tuna, and we of course limited out as a bycatch. They call that a bycatch, those snapper, and also some black snapper. We had a really good trip, and we'll talk about that video later. Ken Mullins was talking about Ken Mullins Pharmacy up there in Lynn Haven. Ken's been around a long time. His dad started the pharmacy, and Ken, you know, we're a lot of us in the same situation. We've got some old mounts that need repairing, and Ken's looking for a taxidermist with experience in rehabbing old mounts. But check out this. This is an 8.5-pound smallmouth. He caught it when he was 8 years old. He mounted it in 1971, and he wants to get it repaired. I don't blame him. It's not that in bad a shape, but I was talking to him. I've known Ken a long time. He caught that, folks. He caught that in Lake Eufaula. In fact, he sent me the newspaper clipping from 1971, and there it is right there. I said, an 8-pound small. That was probably, but seriously, it was probably a late record, and they didn't even know it back then. Look at that thing. So anyway, and then someone said this, oh my goodness, the tarpon bite is on fire. Folks, they've caught a lot of tarpon this past week, so that just be aware of that. Okay, real quick, this is Michael Coward, getting to go fishing. Let me see. Okay, Michael, this is Scott Lightsey sent this, and Michael took them fishing inshore, so Scott took Michael offshore, and they had a good trip. And look at some of the grouper right there. They had a really good trip. I know Michael Coward enjoyed getting in the deep water. And you can see by all these pictures Scott Lightsey sent us. And their screen lit up. And a lot of folks, you don't see all these, if you don't go out a lot, you don't see a lot of these electronics. And all those marks right there, those are fish all in the water, okay? And so you're in different, see it all the way up in the column on the right side, and then thick on the bottom, and even up about 4 or 5 cranks. So that's interesting to see. Okay, let's go and take a quick break now. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So glad you're with us on this Monday morning. Like I said, we're looking at a great week of outdoor activities. The moon's going to be right. We've got a new moon coming up for the freshwater fishermen. We've got some great tides for inshore fishermen, and the wind's not going to be too bad for offshore. So, man, you're talking about living in paradise. We're right at it, and we're right at the peak of it right here as far as the summer peak. Real quick announcement from the Florida State Park System. We always talk about outdoor photography and how much fun it is, and I show a lot of pictures of people taking great shots of the outdoors. And they have a summer photo contest is now open, and it's going to end on September 30th. But the grand prize, a paddleboard, and then second prize, all kind of stuff. Anyway, watch and all that. But anyway, yeah, you can send it in to Florida State Park System, take a picture and all that. So be aware of that. Now, I was thinking about, we got scallop season coming up now next month. We're still a ways away, but we talk about, one of the things we talk about is having the, launching your boat and you know, getting out there on top of them pretty quick. And one of the biggest things too is the location of launching your boat for St. Joe Bay. And I was thinking about the situation on launching the boat. Now you can do it in 3 places. You can go from the marina or the downtown in St. Joe. Let me get up there on Google Earth. I got it up there, Jeff? Okay. Now let's look at the ground zero. I'm gonna keep everything in the center, okay? ground zero really for scalloping. We're always talking about Black's Island, so that's right there in the center, right here in the center of the page, right here. Okay, that's Black's Island, and we'll talk about that's the place to do now. You can launch your boat. You got pressed nails, which is right up in here. Okay. All right, got pressed nails right there, so that's pretty close, and you launch right there, and you go straight out down here to your left. You really go south a little bit, okay? Or you can go, now the other place to launch, of course, would be the city marina way up here, top right-hand corner, the city marina, or the city boat ramp, where they now charge you $10 to do that, or you go free right above here. You can launch right here below the Highland View Bridge. So you got those three places, or if you're out here camping, or if you want to go all the way to the state park, now they're going to charge you for that too. But you can launch right here in the center of the page. That's the state park there, and then go down to Black's Island. So the closest place and the best place, and of course now here's the deal. Highland View up here, the top of the page right there. Highland View is free. Okay, in the center of the page, the city of St. Joe, which is not that far right there. That's $10. And then I think Presnell's still $10, so it's a no-brainer. Where you want to launch it from? So, and another thing too, why wouldn't you want to go ahead and support a small business like Pressed Nails instead of these not necessarily not supporting the city, but they're charging all that money is going to the city government. And you know what government does with our money? They just take it and a lot of times they're not good stewards of the money. So we know, I've always talked about supporting small business, so it's a no-brainer to me. They shouldn't be charging for that boat ramp anyway, and it should be free. So you got four choices when you launch your boat. Pressed Nails, which is going to be the closest, and a small private business, so I'm going to go there as much as I can. My second choice would be the state park because I'm out there a lot, and my third choice would be Highland View Bridge, and my fourth choice would be the city of Port St. Joe and paying them their $10. So be aware of the four launches you can have. And also, if you got a kayak now, you can launch your kayak, and a lot of this is really getting busy right now. Really getting busy. I'm surprised at how busy it is. Let's go right here. This little, see, right in the center of the page right here. That's where all the big rocks are. See all the big rocks? So you can actually take a canoe. You don't have to be a kayak now, or you can walk out there. But right here in the bayou, the old lighthouse used to be here, and there's pretty decent scalloping on up in there to the right-hand side. So you can launch your kayak there, or a canoe. Okay, I do want to move on. One of the things we talked about, Stan Kirkland mentioned this the other day, and I was surprised when in fact, I called him up and said, Stan, tell me more about this. He mentioned about, actually a friend of his had contracted this virus, and here's it right here. Vibriosis causing estimated 80,000 illnesses and 100 deaths in the United States. And this guy that he knows from up there from Sneed's, actually we went to high school with a guy a couple years older than him, but he said he stepped on an oyster in St. Joe Bay and got that infection, and within 24 hours he was dead. And then I called Scott Lindsay about it. He said, yeah. He said, don't you remember a lady about 2 years ago did the same thing, and within 30 hours, maybe less than 24 hours too, she died. So that once that virus gets in there, now it's not that flesh-eating bacteria, but that virus gets in there, especially in the summertime, and it's the same one we're eating raw seafood, the same virus. Really, I had to look this up last night because it wasn't that familiar. I'd heard of it. So that basically they said 80 to 100 deaths a year in the United States. So I was surprised it happened so quick. But the biggest way to prevent that, like Stan said, wear some really good, strong shoes in the water in the summertime when you wade fishing. Now also, if you have some cuts on you and scratches and all, don't try not to get in the water unless you have some kind of waterproof Band-Aid as far as protecting. St. Joe Bay is one of our cleanest bays in the state of Florida, and so that bacteria is not really caused by pollution. It's just caused a bacteria that's naturally existing. So just be aware of that. And like I said, I was surprised. I had to call Stan and say, "Did I hear you right when you said that?" He said, "Yeah, the guy was from Sneed's," and he told me the details on it. So just be aware, and our condolences go out to all the family members and all. But we want to be, we're talking about getting in water and all at different times, and And that's one of the things when you get in the water, you just don't know what's out there. I'm always talking about sharks and stingrays and all that. I don't want to scare you off from the water, but you can see the sharks and the stingrays for most of the time, or feel them with your feet and all, but you can't see that bacteria. So be aware of that. Let's take our final break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Jeff and I were just talking off air. You know, a couple of businesses were closed last week on July 4th. I just think that is awesome. I think that's great. I wish everybody would just shut down on July 4th and observe that holiday, and it would be cool if they did. And my salute to all those few businesses that did that and all. But I know most of them don't. But anyway, that's just my personal view. Our fishing game times today, we're looking at the brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers, our good friends down in Port St. Joe. Man, they were packed out. 9:22 to 11:22 this morning, and tonight 9:51 to 11:51. Man, that might be a good time. I don't like to fish in the middle of the day, but that's not a bad time right there. I also wanted to mention red snapper season now going out to 21st, which is going to be Saturday. On a Saturday, the last day will be the 21st, I believe, or 22nd. I believe it's 21st. I also called flounder season coming up pretty soon. I called Travis. Or text him. We text back and forth a good bit when I'm trying to find out information. I was trying to find out, you know, if you got a boatload of people, say if you take on flounder gigging at night, and you take some people who normally don't do out, that's a great time to take people who just sort of want to get out at night and just sort of observe nature, and it's really cool to be out on the water at night. So sometimes you take people with you that aren't really fishermen and all. I text Travis, these people on the boat, do they need a fishing license if they're not actually doing the gigging? And he texts back and he said only the participant, and one that's doing the gigging needs a license on that. If they're just going along for the ride, they will not need a fishing license. A lot of times, just be aware of that. A lot of times people just want to go along for the ride. Also, want to mention the cleaning the boat. I was cleaning my boat the other day. It still amazes me how much salt gets on, even on a normal couple-hour fishing trip, how much salt gets on that boat. When you get back to the house, if you just want to run your hand along the side of the boat and just feel that salt on there before you wash it off, you really have to wash it good. Don't just rinse it off. You have to wash that salt off really good on a regular basis. And I just want to throw that out. I've done most of my grown life. I've done that, but it still fascinates me how much salt is on there. So if you can feel it on the outside edges, think about all the stuff on the inside, how the salt gets on the inside of it. Also want to talk about, again, with season coming up, and as far as scalloping and the boating season just at its peak on July 4th, a lot of people were out there. A lot of people sort of anchor out and just party and all. That's not a problem. But we're talking about as fishermen, we were in a situation and we're talking about trying to always keep that football field distance between you and the other participants in the outdoors, especially when you're scalloping and all. A lot of times I go out there and work hard to find the scallop, and when I find them, then somebody pulls up right next to you and throws out the anchor. We had that happen to us on the oil rig out tuna fishing the other day. It was fascinating, and the captain just shook his head. I actually filmed it. I'll have the video coming up later on this week, and I'll show you how the people actually got on both sides of it. It made me think about my first experience in outdoors. I often bring up my dad because I learned a lot from him, and a lot of times I learn from his actions, not necessarily his words. But one of the things I vividly remember was fishing on the Ocklawaha River. He had that little 6 horsepower motor on that little boat, and my brother and I'd be on it, but he'd be going around those, we'd get up early and he'd be going around those curves and all, going to our fishing spot. And every time we go around the curve and somebody's fishing off to the side, he slowed down because he didn't want that wake to hit those person over there fishing, so to be bobbing up and down. And he just did that on a regular, and coming back in, around lunchtime we'd be coming back in. He did the same thing. He'd go wide open, then to see somebody, of course, wide open on a 5 or 6 horsepower with three people, not all that fast, but he would see somebody come around that curve, he'd shut it down and just go real slow by them. And what I learned from that was that my dad had respect for his fellow outdoorsmen, and that is something that as a society we have lost. And we just don't, people don't do that kind of stuff anymore. I still find myself doing it, but most of the time people are just flying by, and but they don't care about the wake. They don't care about the other person over there fishing. If they got 2 or 3 kids in there trying to fish, and they just going full speed, and that wake is big. And I've given that a lot of thought lately, because that's a reflection of our society in general, how we've lost, it's an all about me attitude, and how we've lost respect for our fellow man. And usually our outdoorsmen, people like us, we're the ones who have a lot of respect and all for each other. But again, we got people coming in that don't know a lot of outdoor values, and they haven't been, be honest with you, they haven't been exposed to it when they were young, and don't know any better than to go full speed. And I just see that. And it's not just that, like I say, you're trying to keep that distance when you're out there fishing and all, and somebody drift fishing and their trolling motor is going this way, whatever. You don't go in there and fish out in front of them when they're coming this way. You sort of get behind them. It's just little things like that. And I just, I've mentioned a time or two before, I feel real strong about those kind of ethics and all we have outdoors. And we're sort of the last bastion of respectability as far as a group of people in our country, as far as you having a lot of admiration and respect for our fellow outdoorsmen. So I want to urge you to help other people too, and try to practice it. Like I say, a lot of times it's not in the words, it's in the actions. And we got scallop season coming up. To me, that's one of the most vivid times you'll see where people just pile in on you. And a lot of times they just don't know any better. Now, I'm not talking about when you're going into like Crab Island, Shell Island, or the tip of the Cape, where you just parking in there just to party and all. And neither am I talking about when the captains get together, like our tuna fishing captains. There were like 8 or 9 boats out there, but they all were talking back and forth, and they're working back and forth and trying to help each other out. That's a little bit different. So just have respect. I'm talking about putting up your tree stand on public hunting property. When you see another tree stand right down the road and you put yours up there within sight of that, we just don't do those things. I want to urge you as outdoorsmen to help support our outdoor ethics. And all of y'all know what I'm talking about, and you witness it too. And it's just something very important to us that we got here in the Panhandle. We do a doggone pretty good job on it. I'm very proud of some things we do. So we're going to keep it going and try to keep promoting. Okay, I've run out of time. Got a big show tomorrow. Got some video coming up later on our tuna fishing trip. So you have a great day today, and always do something good for your fellow man, and enjoy the outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.